Let's have some fun today. What do you think? Because what I'm going to talk about was something that came to my attention just like hours ago. I don't know how the hell I could have missed this. And we're talking about a little over 3 years ago, late 2017. This happens. This happened. And as I said, I don't know how I missed this, but it kind of connects with the situation we have politically with Donald Trump as the president and the this what seems to be like a yearning toward authoritarian measures by one of the two dominant parties in this country. And my problems with both parties is that both parties are kind of authoritarian in different ways. I'm not a fan of the two party system, and you've heard me say that many a times. And I mean it when I say that, even though I criticize one of the two major parties a tad bit more than the other, but I criticize both parties. There are times that I will tell you when somebody from one of the major parties and even the other opposing party, when they do something positive, I'm willing to say they're doing something positive. Now, when it comes to President Donald Trump, certainly nobody can have this disputed that he was typical and boring. I mean, he was the least presidential president we've ever had. Um, at its most benign, at the most non-controversial, one can look at Donald Trump and have a good laugh. Whether you adore him, or you despise him, or you're just kind of what the fuck. I mean, it's kind of like looking at a plane crashing into a building. You keep seeing that over and over in slow motion, over and over in slow motion, or a car crashing into a wall in slow motion. It's really disturbing and just to watch. But some of you are kind of enticed watching it. Well, I guess kind of like that would describe President Trump in that regard. Um, well, I mean, when it, as far as him, you know, talking shit, he used to talk a lot of shit. He still talks a lot of shit. I mean, he can be quite. He makes you hate his guts. He's kind of entertaining at times. Um, of course, when it came to actual policies, that's when things were kind of like, oh my gosh, yeah, kind of destructive. Tax cuts for the wealthy, for example, giving trillions to big business. Basically asking them not to lay off employees. Our government gives them money, and they go lay off employees, as they did with the $4.5 trillion that the Treasury Department gave to big business last year, due to this COVID crisis that we're currently suffering from at the moment. Um, just various things threatening to crush dissent with the Insurrection Act, which is kind of ironic because on January 6th, he encouraged his supporters at the Capitol to engage in an act of insurrection. Now, it can be debated whether that was on purpose or not. Did it get out of control? Did he insinuate and say things that they interpreted the wrong way, or was he deliberately trying to have a coup? I mean, you know, uh, it's Donald Trump. You have to look at him and realize, well, damn, anything is possible with this guy. Well, anyway, the insurrection that took place on January 6th proved, however, that he has really deep authoritarian impulses, and the fact that he's also very thin-skinned in a lot of ways. People thought that Richard Nixon was thin-skinned, but compared to Trump, probably the most thin-skinned president ever. Donald Trump also hates freedom of speech. You know that? Um, Many years ago, he wanted to harmonize the libel laws in the United States with that in Great Britain. Now, you know me. You know me. I'm kind of an Anglophile in my own way. I love Great Britain. I mean, I love the culture. I love the music. I love the art. I love the architecture. I love the fact they got socialized medicine. Even though they're, it's roughly a 2.5 party system. You can run for different parties and theoretically get yourself elected way more than you can here in the United States. They don't have the death penalty. I mean, there's all kinds of things I love about Great Britain. One of the things I don't love about Great Britain is freedom of speech laws, because freedom of speech is not as good as it is here. I say that again about most other countries in the world. One thing the United States got going positive for it is the First Amendment, and unfortunately, Great Britain doesn't have guaranteed free speech rights the way the United States has it, or in theory, supposed to have it. And what I mean by that is he wants to harmonize the libel laws with that of Great Britain, meaning that if some nobody makes a negative comment about a political figure or somebody well known, that well known person or that person, that political figure can sue a nobody. And if it gets taken to court and that nobody loses, they pay the court fees of, and everything involved. That's the kind of thing that Donald Trump would like to see here in the United States. For example, even though he's a well-known person, Bill Maher several years ago made an orangutan joke that was kind of, shall I say, kind of, it will make you blush. It was kind of a fresh joke about an orangutan and his sex life regarding Donald Trump. Donald Trump was so angry over this that he sued Bill Maher for $5 million, which, for I can tell, nothing came out of this because Bill Maher, who's not perfect, um, sometimes when he puts his mind to it, he can be okay. Sometimes he becomes part of the problem. But here's the thing: um, he's equal opportunity when it comes to making fun of other strong, powerful people. And so Donald Trump was thin-skinned to have to sue, or to attempt to sue, what's his name, Donald Trump, Bill Maher. I'll give you another example. I'm from North Carolina. While I'm not particularly fond of the current governor, Roy Cooper, right now, because he's just another politician as far as I'm concerned. In spite of my problems I had with Governor Roy Cooper, he is still an improvement from the preceding asshole that was the governor of North Carolina, Pat McCrory. Pat McCrory was elected in 2012, and he was thankfully a one-term governor. If you don't know who Pat McCrory is, this guy, he ran for governor in 2008, and I saw a little commentary on Channel 5 and this is what made me think he was just an SOB at this point, when he talked about how North Carolina how North Carolina leads the country when it comes to the economy. We lowered wages. We kept the unions out of the state. And anybody Any politician who brags about lowering wages, any politician that brags about keeping those unions out of North Carolina is a politician who is my enemy. I just think that person is a piece of piece of shit, and that's what I think of Pat McCrory. He's just an asshole. Pat McCrory was in 2014, I believe it was. He was in Charlotte, North Carolina, at Reed's Fine Foods, and he was walking in with security detail, and one of the associates that worked there went up to Pat McCrory, and he was obviously not a Republican, so but he knows it was Pat McCrory and kind of walked away and said thanks for nothing. And Pat McCrory got all irritated and all thin skinned, and he demanded to see the manager, and he demanded to see the manager, and he managed to get Drew Swope fired from this job. I lost even less respect for this guy, Pat McCrory, because if he had any kind of decorum, any kind of class, he would have just looked at this guy and just went about his own way. He could have actually made this Drew Swope guy feel like shit by taking the high road, but no, he had his little feelings hurt. You know, and the thing is, Drew Swope pays his salary, Pat McCrory's salary. I paid Pat McCrory's salary when Pat McCrory was the governor. Now, if Drew Swift still lives in North Carolina, I don't know where he's at right now, but who he is really, other than he was fired from the job at Reed's Fine Food because Pat McCrory had his little feelings hurt. If Drew Swift still lives here in North Carolina, he pays Roy Cooper's salary, just as I pay Roy Cooper's salary, both as taxpayers. So we're talking about people with authoritarian streaks here, okay? Thanks for nothing, you know? Well, on October 28, 2017, in Sterling, Virginia, there was a motorcade. President Trump came in with his motorcade. Julie Brinksman, as I said, I found out about her just hours ago. She was a market analysis for Akima as a government contractor. Well, she was cycling, presumably in the morning, I'm guessing, but she was cycling and happened to see the motorcade. She knew it was Donald Trump. Apparently, she's a Democrat, and of course, she did run for office later on as a Democrat and won. But suffice to say, she saw Donald Trump and she gave him the finger. Well, the thing about it is, I mean, she put it on her Twitter profile, that particular photo, which went viral. It got back, and she got fired for her job. And you know what? That was her First Amendment right to do so, just as it was Drew Swope's First Amendment right to not be so flattering to Governor Pat McCrory. Just as it was Bill Maher's right to make the orangutan joke about Donald Trump. Just as it's my right to label 99% of the politicians in this country as pieces of shit that they are from both fucking parties. My point is that there's a streak of authoritarianism that goes on. And somebody talks horribly about somebody wants to go and sue or silence that person. And I the way I see it, there's it's a double standard. As I said the other day, Congressman Alan Grayson made negative comments toward Republicans in terms of healthcare reform, for which he was correct, and the Democratic Party basically were so embarrassed by his decorum. Whereas when Obama made his State of the Union address in 2010 over the healthcare debate and healthcare reform, and Congressman Joe Wilson in South Carolina yelled, "You lied!" And what did the Republicans do? The Republicans and the Democrats worked something out. So he just had a tap on the wrist. There, don't do that again. Barack Obama went and had a discussion with Joe Wilson, and made the healthcare plan just a little shittier and than it was going to be in the first place. So there's a double standard that if you're on one end of the political spectrum, apparently you can insult, you can degrade others, get away with it. But if you're in another party, you can't, and there would be repercussions. And it's not that I want somebody who's a Republican that if they do this, they should have their jobs taken away from them either. I don't like the fact that people try to be petty and punish their political opponents whenever they can. That bothers me. I mean, especially just it bothers me. And I know some people's like, yeah, but you want to punish Marjorie Taylor Greene in Congress. Marjorie Taylor Greene made comments that saying that she wants to murder her political opponents. That alone, that alone says she should not be in Congress. I mean, somebody, if she wanted to be QAnon crazy, and she never said, I would like to shoot down Nancy Pelosi, or I'd like to shoot down Hillary Clinton, or I want to shoot down Barack Obama. That's what Marjorie Taylor Greene said in her words. If she didn't say that, and she was just QAnon crazy, and she just even her ridiculous Jewish satellites shooting lasers into California to start forest fires, even saying things like that, I have to question the wisdom of people in Georgia that would vote for her in that congressional district. But if she didn't go around wanting to kill people and making it clear that you support killing your political opponents, then she'd just be an unpleasant person in Congress. But I am not wrong to favor her being removed from Congress. I mean, if a Democrat, and even if it's a progressive Democrat, said, I want to go and kill these many Republicans over here, I would think that was just as horrible, and I would want them removed. Yeah, and no matter what their ideology would be otherwise, because I'm consistent. If you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you comment anyway, otherwise, feel free to share the content on this channel. As the First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you that if you're passionate about something, please create a platform, utilize it, because we're the muckrakers of our time. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and until next time, peace and Bernie Sanders for president in the year 2024.